Rather than focus in merely on current events, I like messages in the videos that are going to last. Today, we are talking about the value of leadership. What a leader is supposed to do. A leader is supposed to unite us under one banner, under the values in America of freedom and tolerance and propagating these out to the world. When Donald Trump, and this is a criticism of Donald for what he's recently done on Twitter, with Joe Scarborough, the former congressman, he has criticized him for the intern who died in his office, throwing shade at him, insinuating that he might be guilty of murder. Donald Trump, how does this help America? I want to vote for you. I am definitely not voting for the Democratic Party and their hatred, divisive, racist ideology, despite the fact that they claim that everybody else is racist. They are the actual racists, but my vote still might go to the Libertarian candidate. I am begging you, Donald, when you do this, you are throwing shit. You are giving the Trump trolls ammunition. You are feeding Trump derangement syndrome. I made a video about Orange Man God syndrome and why people on the right, supporters of Donald Trump, are unwilling to listen to criticisms of the Donald. There are good, valid reasons for this. The media has continued to cry wolf every time, tried to misframe things that Donald Trump has done, but there's no misframing this. When you are using your position, your bully pulpit position, to go after an individual, you are not uniting the nation. You are there to lead the nation. You are there to stand up to China, to foreign powers that wish to do America harm. Your job is not to concentrate your ire and focus on some individual, especially not without added evidence. It does no good. This is for your own ego and narcissistic gratification, and it's political malpractice for you to do so. As voters, we want to see what you will do for America. When we see you do this, we don't see you leading us. You've done tremendous good for the economy. You've rolled back over regulations that the Democrats always want to pile on. I'm in favor of most of that in all likelihood, although you could probably break it down to specifics that I wouldn't, especially regarding the environment, but that's another story. Donald, you need to unite America. You see, American values are what you stand for, what the office of the President of the United States stands for. And these values of freedom of speech, freedom of assembly, etc., are not ubiquitous throughout the world. And I say that as somebody who's visited 60 countries and seen the boot of government on the throats of people, where if you speak out in just the wrong tone, bye-bye. They either arrest you, they come kill you. Look at China. There are two competing visions for the world. There's America and the freedoms and values that we represent. And then you have China and the authoritarian government, the authoritarian regime that wants to keep power at all costs. And in order to do so, they raise their people into the middle class, essentially bribing them in exchange for their freedoms. There's no freedom of speech in China. You get disappeared. That's an actual verb. You get disappeared if you say the wrong thing against the Chinese government. They are taking the people in Western China, the Muslims, the Uyghurs, and they are re-educating them. It's an Orwellian 1984 nightmare. Also, they are likely, according to various reports, selling their organs to the Middle East. You want a kidney? Hey, skip the waiting list. Go directly to China to buy it. We've got Uyghur organs to sell you. It's a sickening thing. China is antithetical to human rights. And Donald Trump, we need you standing up to China. We do not using your political capital to go after an individual over something that may or may not have happened 20 years ago that you have no evidence of. And you are feeding the Trump trolls. These people that want to go after you for any possible reason. Trump derangement syndrome. Now you're giving them valid and compelling reasons. People can actually point to your continued use of Twitter to go after individuals as a valid reason to dislike you, to not think that you're a competent leader. And I have to say, again, that it's political malpractice on your part to continue to use Twitter to go after inconsequential enemies in your mind. It's narcissistic. Please stop it. Please concentrate your power on things that will benefit America. Just the fact that you're using a few minutes of your time in the Oval Office to send out these tweets going after these individuals, is not leadership. Leadership, once again, you unite people, you bring people together, you have a higher vision that drives other people to help us achieve it. And this, again, American values versus the authoritarian governments of China. The authoritarian side of the radical left that wants to bring such practices here for the good of the people rather than individual freedoms and the ability to decide for ourselves what our lives will be, what we say or do. Freedom of speech, freedom of assembly, freedom to practice religion. All these things are what America stands for. And Donald Trump, you must be the embodiment of this in order to get more voters on your side, in order to keep the independent voters that might switch parties, that might switch their vote away from you. Right now, you are heavily favored to win, in my opinion. Don't mess it up. Don't keep this pettiness ongoing on Twitter. Somebody should take away your Twitter account for your own good. Now, in terms of all the people that are asking for censorship, that are asking for their Donald Trump's tweets to be deleted, no, this is what you have. You have the ability to see somebody for what they are. If you hide the tweets, I'm sure that the Republican, that his campaign staff wouldn't mind having these tweets deleted. You get the opportunity to see somebody for what they are. And this is why freedom of speech is so valuable. It allows competing ideas to be debated. Donald, stop it, please. I'm begging you. I am potentially going to vote for a libertarian candidate. I'm still likely going to vote for you, but you have to stop it with the Twitter and feeding the Trump derangement syndrome people out there. All the trolls that are going to use this and skirmish over this. You are making them more resolute to vote against you. Some of them might not be for Biden, but they're going to go to the polls more and more to vote against you, much as I'm voting against the woke left. No matter who I vote for, I'm voting against the woke left. Please unify people under the banner of American freedoms, under the banner of American values. Let this propagate out into the world as strongly as possible so that we might counter the authoritarian regime of China. If you guys think this is valuable, share the video, leave me a comment whether you agree or disagree, and feel free to subscribe. Peace out.